So I'm going to start by inviting you to breathe towards the One. So holding the thought, the words towards the One on the breath, whilst breathing in to the heart, towards the One, and breathing out from the heart towards the One. So bringing your awareness in this focus on the thought and on the breath together. So this includes your whole being, breathing into your whole being towards the One. And as you get a greater sense of connection in this present moment, through your breath to your whole being, I invite you to connect to the other members of our circle with your breath. So we're all breathing in together towards the One. Breathing out from our hearts towards the One, towards each other. So as if we're all breathing a single breath together. Including each one of us in our awareness as we breathe. United breath. And then imagine we're breathing with all living beings. Across the whole planet. Towards the One, breathing in, breathing out. And breathing then with the whole of existence. Breathing in towards the One, breathing out towards the One. We breathe with the web of life. And now let's share the Sufi invocation from this place towards the One, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the message, the mystery, the miracle, the Mother, the Spirit of guidance. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let us begin in the name of God, Allah, unity. That is infinite love, infinite, radiant love and infinite compassion. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu, Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu. Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu. Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu. So there's some very simple movements that go with this if you're able to join with me. To begin with, we're just stepping backwards and forwards, letting our arms swing. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. And then we're turning to the right. Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu. And to the left. Bismillah, Bismillah, oh Allahu. And Bismillah, I sometimes like to think, is beginning every breath in the name of Allah. See if we can remember that connection to the divine through our breath, with each breath. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. Bismillah, Bismillah. Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, 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 Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, 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 Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, 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 Rahman, Bismillah, Bismillah, Rahman, Bismillah, So after that, returning to our breath, returning our attention to our breath. As we settle down again, let's just notice what the breath is doing. Let it take its natural rhythm. So as we allow our attention to rest on the breath, we might notice the breath changing. Sometimes the very act of paying attention to it means it begins to change. And the breath is such an amazing part of our living existence, our living being, because it connects us to ourselves, to our bodies, to our inner state, our emotional state, our physical state. It also connects us to something much greater than ourselves. In a very simple way, the breath connects us to the whole of the atmosphere of this planet. which of course is connected to all other living, breathing beings. And we're taking in and letting out air all the time, which is part of our planet, part of existence. And of course, when we bring our attention to our breath, we are connecting to the present moment in a very real way. Quite often it takes our attention away from our thoughts, which are so often taken up with the past or the future, or other things that are not here right now. So it can be a very helpful way of taking a bit of the energy out of the mind. And of course it's always there. As long as we're alive. And of course it forms a central part of many spiritual practices in many traditions. And I've got some quotes here from Samuel Lewis. "The breath is an absolute, profound and pure way of communication from all planes of existence to other planes." And a quote which is quite well known to many who are familiar with these teachings. This is from Abu Hashim Madani, who was the teacher of Hazrat Inayat Khan. "There is only one thing to be gained in life, and that is to remember God with each breath. And there is only one loss in life, and that is the breath drawn without the remembrance of God." Some more from Samuel Lewis. "Disharmonies arise because of clashes in the rhythm of breath. These disharmonies can be removed by singing, dancing, devotion and esotericism. Therefore Sufis use wazifas and practice zikr, not only to bring peace and harmony to each person, but also to each group." When we sing together, we breathe together. And I think even people who've not been singing as a spiritual practice notice the harmony that comes between groups of people when they spend a lot of time singing together, and the sense of connection. And finally, another word from Murshid Sam. "Identifying oneself with breath is a form of self-effacement which takes one from mortality to immortality. Material things are left behind. Spiritual things are carried to the next world, carry one to and through the next world." And yet the beauty of the breath is it's such a part of our physical existence. So I was going to share another dance. These words are in Aramaic, Allaha Ruhau. Allaha Ruhau. Literally, God is breath. But a very beautiful translation of this is unity breathes. And of course, we are part of that unity. We're breathing. Breathing. Being breathed. Allaha Ruhau. Allaha, 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 Ruhau. Allaha, 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 So in this dance we're going to be breathed, and we're going to be breathing with each other, breathing each other. So connecting, imagine we're connecting with our hands, but with our breath particularly. Raising our arms as we breathe in, lowering them. And actually you won't be breathing in and out as we're singing in that way, because you'll need to breathe out whilst you're singing. But you can imagine that we are being breathed as part of the circle. Allaha, 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 Allaha. So for the first two Allahas, we're raising our arms as we're breathed in, and then on the second two Allahas, our arms are falling. And then on Ruhau, first time we're going to be just turning to the right. Really feel that sense of being part of the breath, the spirit, the breath of God. And then we do Allaha, 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 Allaha again. This time we'll turn to the left the second time. Again, feel that sense of spaciousness. So, and even though, normally we would be walking to the right and then walking to the left, I just suggest that you keep your legs stepping. So we're stepping at the same time. So we keep a sense of connection with our whole body and a connection with the earth. Allaha, 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 Ruhau. invite you to connect in turn with someone in the circle. Before each turn, choose a different person. Allah, raising arms together. Allah, breathing together. Choose another So just continuing to notice our breath. Letting it settle into its new rhythm. Amen. I just wanted to share with you a breathing practice which was taught to me a few years ago by Narayan, who was a dance leader from the United States, which I've found helpful, quite good way of maintaining my concentration on the breath and the movement of the breath in the body. It uses the invocation, and he explained it by saying we take a breath in or out for every noun in the invocation. Now, I'm not quite sure I'm not entirely sure about all that I've quite got all the nouns quite correctly placed, but I find it quite a good way of holding my attention on the breath. So we breathe in towards the one, breathe out, united with all, and then in, the illuminated souls, out, who form the embodiment in of the Master. No, I think I've got mixed up there, haven't I? I've forgotten the invocation in the middle. Towards, if I move my hand up and down, you can see whether I'm breathing in or out. In fact, I won't be breathing all right because I can't do it very well whilst speaking. But it's towards the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all, the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. Amen. So could you hear me when I was speaking whilst breathing in? Right, I'll do it again then. So it starts with the breath in. Towards the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all, the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. And you can put an Amen or Ameen or a couple of them at the end, so you end up on the out breath. So we could just try that silently. Or I could just say the invocation moving my hand up and down. That might just help to continue, give you some guidance there towards the one, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. Let's just do it silently one time together. And I found it helpful to imagine that I'm drawing the energy up from the base of my spine up to my crown when I'm breathing. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you, and you can play around with it. When I use it, I sometimes say the invocation several times. And it does help to pull my energy in and bring me into my body, into a greater sense of focus and attunement. Amen. So the mantra here I'm sharing is Om Hum So Hum, which is Sanskrit. Translations is I am that. So hum. And I'm sharing this because this particular mantra is often seen to represent or speak of the balance between polarities, the balance between light and dark, masculine, feminine, life, death, and then, of course, inhalation and exhalation, which are part of the breath, these two parts of the breath which balance. Of course, it makes me think that sometimes they're not always balanced, as I'm sure you've noticed. Sometimes we have a tendency to maybe hold in our breath So we get more focused and stuck on the in-breath, which gives us a certain state of being, and it can affect the way we feel, and equally the way we feel can affect our breath. So we can get into this sort of state of over anxiety and breath holding, and equally, if we have a particular emphasis on the out breath, this can give a sense of a loss of energy and even depression. I mean, we can experiment with those sometimes and make ourselves hold our breath in, or make ourselves emphasize the out breath, and you can notice, if you try that you'll experience a change in energy. So finding a balance in the breath can help us to experience more equanimity as we go through life. So with this one, we've got our arms closed, as if we're holding the edge of our waistcoat or something like that. And then as we open our arms, our hands open like this. So closing our arms, we close our hands, so that our hands are clenched like that. That's it. And then opening our arms, we open our hands. So we're really opening and closing. A bit as if our whole body is breathing out and breathing in. Om, 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 so Om, 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 so Om. And just let's step while we do this on each beat, as if we were walking round in a circle. Om, 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 so Om, 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 So home, 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 so home, home, so So that particular dance, with that attunement of balance, of inhalation, exhalation, opening and closing, made me think of a pair of beautiful names. Ya Rabid, Ya Basit. Ya Rabid, the only source of all contraction and the only one who actually contracts. And Ya Basit, the only one who expands, the only source of expansion. In the Physicians of the Heart, it says, often there is great joy in the expansion of Al-Basit, and its meaning is connected with ecstasy. And Ya Rabid, at the physical level, continual contraction and expansion are seen throughout nature. It is a natural physical rhythm of the heart and lungs. Contraction and expansion are also aspects of the greater sphere of heart. So Al-Rabid has a sober quality. Its opposite, Al-Basit, expansion, has the quality of ecstasy. Ya Rabid, Ya Basit, when recited as a pair, provide a necessary balance for those who stubbornly cling to the pleasurable states that they have become attached to by their desire. Repetition of this pair is also useful for those who have a strong aversion to contraction and who are desperately trying to escape from lower states. Equanimity comes from realizing that God is operating through both of these poles of experience. Just like our breath is expanding and contracting, so is our life and our experience. So let's recite those two. Ya Rabid. Shall I put them in the chat? So Ya Rabid, the source of contraction. Ya Basit, the only source of expansion.
Salik, they didn't show up in this chat. Maybe you just sent it to one person accidentally. Oh, there it goes.
I didn't press return.
I know that one.
Thank you for that. Ya Rabid, Ya Basit, 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 Ya Rabid, Ya Basit. So taking it onto the breath, breathing out, Ya Rabid, breathing out, Rabid, breathing in, Basit. So breathing out, Rabid, breathing in, Basit. The lungs contracting on Rabid, expanding on Basit. So letting the words fall away, just staying with the breath, this attunement of contraction and expansion. And just let the breath find its own natural rhythm. Amen. The dance is called Ruach Elohim. This is Hebrew, and it really means the same as the Allaha Ruhau, God is breath, the breath of God. In fact, the only words that we use are Ruach, and then a Nagun, Lai, 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 Lai. Ruach. So we're going to begin sort of close up to the screen as we're all huddled together, connected to each other in a nice close circle. And then we very swaying very slowly. And as we sway with Ruach, we're just stepping very slightly outwards as we sway. So just a little bit further away from the center of the circle, like that. Ruach, 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 Ruach. And then on each of the different sections of Laila Lai, we're going to be taking a different partner. So imagine we're taking someone out of their window and dancing around the room with them, and then taking another person and dancing around the room with them, and taking a third person and dancing around the room with them. It's like a waltzing step as well, so you can have a good waltz around. So number one is Lai lai da dai dai da dai dai da dai. Another person. Lai dai da dai dai da dai. Third person. Lai dai da dai dai da dai dai da dai. And then we come back quickly in together to huddle again. Lai dai dai dai, and have a cuddle. Ruach, 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 Ruach. Nai, dai, da, dai, dai, da, dai, dai, da, dai. Another person. Dai, dai, da, dai, dai, da, dai. Third person. Dai, dai, da, dai, dai, da, dai, dai, da, dai. Come back together. Dai, 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 dai. Great. Ruach, another one. Close, staying in close. Ruach, sharing the breath. Ruach, 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 Amen. So I just want to finish today by sharing the prayer cartoon together, for those of you who know it. O Thou, who art the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, Lord of heaven and earth, open our hearts that we may hear Thy voice, which constantly comes from within. Disclose to us Thy divine light, which is hidden in our souls, that we may know and understand life better. Most merciful and compassionate God, give us Thy great goodness, teach us Thy loving forgiveness. Raise us above the distinctions and differences which divide. Send us the peace of Thy divine Spirit, and unite us all in Thy perfect being. Amen. And thank you for sharing the breath with me this evening.